Wait, is this the second video today? Why, yes it is. I'm John Berry, and welcome to another episode of Star Wars Talk. And today I will be breaking down the battle at the end of Star Wars Resistance No Escape Part 2. I don't know if it has an official canon name yet, but I'm going to call it the Battle of the Colossus. And this video will just be my breakdown of the battle, my breakdown review of the battle. To see my review of the entire episode, please follow the video that's linked in the card that's either up here or over here, or in the description. To begin with, not only is this the biggest and longest battle we have seen so far in Star Wars Resistance, but it's very reminiscent of the battles from the original trilogy, the Battle of Hoth and the Battle of Yavin. This is in tone and in storytelling style, not necessarily the events portrayed. The action sequence itself is only a backdrop to the story being told. We got to see this a bit more with the lightsaber fights in the original trilogy, but those two battles I want to mention do show it as well. And there's also this slower pace. It's not an gun-ho action scene that we've seen more in the sequel trilogy and in the prequel trilogy. Pretty much the main difference between the battle in this episode I'm talking about and pretty much the only difference between the Battle of the Colossus and the Battle of Hoth and Battle of Yavin is the fact that no Resistance character dies unless they were with the First Order. That's really actually my only complaint, that we didn't have someone on the side of the Resistance fighting against the First Order die. Somebody should have died. That would have upped the stakes maybe a little bit. It would have been nice to see, just maybe one of the residents comes to help and they die. That would have been nice to see, but we didn't get it, and that's really my only complaint, that nobody died except for First Order pilots. Before I continue any further, if you find yourself enjoying this battle breakdown, please leave a like. Also, to stay up to date on all my non-YouTube stuff and even my YouTube stuff, consider following me on Twitter or on Facebook. You can also check out my website or Discord server, and Discord is an excellent place for me to interact with you. Links are all in the description. And my question for you today is, what did you think of the battle? Let me know down in the comments. Now, let's get back to the battle breakdown, shall we? Now, I would like to review the battle beat by beat. So, we'll be going beat by beat. It's really the actual breakdown part of the video, more than just a regular review, but a very specific review. You've probably seen battle breakdowns before on channels like Low Reloaded if you've watched that channel. So the battle begins, in my opinion I should say, or from my perspective, when the Colossus begins its ascent into space from Castellan's watery surface, and when the First Order attacks to prevent such an action, or prevent the action as it's ongoing. This is followed pretty much immediately by Captain Dozer freeing the three aces that are being held in the Colossus's brig. Then the aces, along with Kaz and Yigo, proceed to get to their ships. But two TIE fighters are blocking the exit for the hangar, and they are ready to fire. But then Anzi and Hype return on board the captured First Order troop transport and AAL, or Atmospheric Assault Lander, and it destroys those two TIEs. So the Aces, Kaz, and Yigo are then able to launch and take the fight to the First Order. Yigo is able to score the first two actual kills by a starfighter in the battle. Took me a while to figure out how I wanted to say that, because I wanted to say he had the first, but he didn't really have the first because Hype and Anzi did. But he was the first one to do it in a starfighter. Where was I? Ah, yes. And Kaz then remarks, "Good to see you flying again," with Yigo responding that he wished it was under better circumstances, which goes to show how he, after being a rebel pilot and fighting the Galactic Civil War, wanted to leave this life of a combat pilot behind. Captain Dozer activates the Colossus's air defenses to help fight off the First Order. Shortly after this scene, we get a scene where one of the aces calls for help, and because she has 2 TIE fighters on her tail, and she uses the term seismos, something along that line. I've heard this term used before in Star Wars. But I really wanted them to use a slang term for TIE fighters that we got to see in the Star Wars X-Wing book series. That term being but I would have really loved that term just to be thrown in there. Would have been a nice callback to Legends without being too overt. That would have been very nice, and I wish they had done it. It's not deal-breaking, but oh well, we can't have everything, can we? Oh, and speaking of Star Wars X-Wing, I plan on beginning a book club for the entire series here on YouTube starting late May, early April. Final schedule still needs to work out. And what you're seeing back here is part of what I plan to do for my set. I still got lots of work to do. Lots of work. But let's get back to my battle breakdown, shall we? And the pirates show up during this battle, and at first Kaz is apprehensive and concerned. Makes sense. The pirates attacked before. That is, he was apprehensive and concerned until they started firing on the First Order. It's also shown that Sonara is giving orders to the pirates during the battle, and makes you think, what happened to Kragan? And he is seen at the end of the episode, so we know he's still alive, and he was present during the attack. So, was there a leadership struggle, and Sonara won and took command? She was also standing in front of the group of pirates, including Kragan, during the end scene of the entire episode, so that does support that she might now have leadership of the pirates. Or was there something else? Regardless, I do think whatever happened will make a good story. Perhaps as a young children's novel? Give me your thoughts on that. But then, a First Order Resistance class Star Destroyer shows up. Did I say Resistance class? I meant a First Order Resurgent class Star Destroyer. That was just me misspeaking. So this reduces the Resistance's momentum. But we get to see that the Colossus has shields that are functioning, because we kind of see Turbo Laser hit the Colossus, but you can see the energy dissipate on the shield, kind of like what we saw in The Last Jedi, which I think was very nice for them to show. And though I am kind of surprised that the shields are still working after being 20 years underwater, most likely, or just 20 years of non-active use and not being repaired. And with the Star Destroyer arriving and the shields being activated on the Colossus, the Aces begin to return to the Colossus for preparations to jump to light speed. However, Major Baron Von Reg is on Yeager's tail, and Kaz is able to pilot the fireball through the Colossus' superstructure, so kind of cutting through the Colossus directly, and is able to get not a lock-on, but is able to successfully fire a killing shot at the Major in his red TIE interceptor. And it's a killing shot. The Yeager is saved. This scene goes to show how well and how good of a pilot Kaz really is, and how that's where he is at home. We've seen this before, that in the cockpit of a fighter, he is his best. He's better than when he's flying on ground. He's his most competent, and this really does show. And Yeager even makes a remark about it. But the entire battle, as I kind of alluded to before, shows how good of a pilot Kaz is, and that he is his best when flying. With that, everyone, including the pirates, are safely aboard the station, aboard the Colossus. Don't know why I said station there, it's because it's clearly established to be a spaceship now. So let's move on from that, and they make their jump to hyperspace, escaping the First Order. Once in hyperspace, Captain Doza sighs in relief. This caught my eye. Is it because they successfully escaped the First Order? Or is it because he's in space? A place I don't think he's been to for quite some time. Let me know what you think of that in the comments. This video is helped made possible by my patrons on Patreon. Patreon is a platform that allows fans to directly support their favorite creators for as low as $1 a month. And with that, you can support me on Patreon for as little as $1 per month. You can also support me more if you so wish, and I understand that not everyone is able to do so. And by supporting me on Patreon, not only are you supporting me as a creator and allowing me to create new and better content, but you will get access to all the scripts from the videos that I script. Not every of them will be scripted, but this video is scripted, so you can go check out the script over on Patreon if you support me on Patreon. Also included there are my bloopers and other content from my channel, and that's what everyone gets. Everyone gets scripts, bloopers, and cut content. At higher tiers you get other stuff, but all the good stuff is at $1. Thank you for watching my latest video. New videos come out every week, so consider subscribing and turning on notifications, cause that's the only way YouTube knows you want to be notified of when I release new content. Feel free to subscribe to the channel by clicking on my face or watching the playlist on screen now. Lastly, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the Force be with you, always.